shout out to you ADA holders out there. I'm an ADA holder. So I understand. I understand what you're going through. I get it. You and I were in the same boat. I just want to say that. And it's not just ADA either. It's Bitcoin. Bitcoin weekly candles are just sideways for weeks. It's insane right now, but this is what crypto does to us. And even on the daily chart, we've been tracking this inverse head and shoulders in play for ADA, and it's kind of like, man, it's multi-month resistance. Let's go. ADA's ready for the move. And then nothing happens. And in fact, the momentum might be running out and there might be downside, right? And I get that frustration watching these charts, especially, trust me, I get it. Just doing charting and videos all the time. But I want to dig into these charts and talk about time frames and talk about just how normal it is at the same time and why I think the mental aspect is important. But we're going to look at the charts, what's next for ADA. But before we do, I want to talk about Grayscale and how it ties into ADA. It ties into time frames. It ties into the next cycle for Cardano. So hit that subscribe. Please hit that like button for me, everybody. It means a lot. I really appreciate your support. And let's dive in. U.S. court questions SEC's rejection of Grayscale's Bitcoin fund proposal. This is a month ago, but very important. You might have seen it. You might have not. Court judges questioned on Tuesday whether the SEC was correct to reject Grayscale Investments' application for a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund since the agency had previously approved Bitcoin futures products. It seems like it's fine for an agency to say, okay, we need some more information, but it seems there's quite a bit of information here on how these markets work together, and the SEC has not offered any explanation that the petitioners here are wrong. So SEC kind of being like, yo, what's up, SEC? Or the judge being like, what's up, SEC? And this isn't seemingly the first time that we've seen a judge do this in a case with SEC. And I'd be really curious to see if this keeps happening. Be really curious to see how this case ends. And this plays into it a little bit, and it certainly plays into Cardano. In a minute, we're going to look at why. Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein has said he expects a final ruling in the case this fall, and that he anticipates the court will rule in Grayscale's favor. This is Ryan over here on Twitter. The SEC is going to lose its case against Grayscale. That was yesterday. The SEC losing cases like this would be very important, pivotal for the crypto industry. And it's not just this case. It's this case. It's Ripple. It's Coinbase. These cases, they are going to set kind of a pathway forward for crypto, one way or another, or closed paths. They're really important. We want to see crypto survive and thrive in America. So this is big. The SEC is going to lose its case against Grayscale. Nobody knows, but certainly it's a possibility. And certainly even just reading some things the judge is saying, it seems like it's very possible. Now, why is this important to Cardano? Here's a headline from today in regards to Cardano. Cardano strengthens presence in Grayscale's smart contract platform fund. Check it out, everybody. Grayscale Investments, the world's largest digital currency asset manager, announced the first quarter 2023 rebalancing of its funds today, revealing a strengthened presence for ADA in its smart contract platform X Ethereum fund, its non-Ethereum fund. The updated fund component weightings place Cardano at 28.13%, a slight increase compared to the previous quarter. This is Grayscale. It's an important player in the crypto industry. Right now, any company that is kind of up against the SEC and putting in the work to find guidance and clarity for this industry is an important company. They're an important player in the space. All these companies, all these people, they get, criticized for certain things, but they're in it. They're fighting to get clarity for the space. So a player like that right now, strengthening their presence, or strengthening ADA's presence in the X Ethereum platform fund, is huge. And you can see what it looks like. By the way, the smart contract platform X Ethereum fund, man, that is tongue twister, is one of the first securities solely invested in and deriving value from the price of native tokens of emerging smart contract platforms. And you scroll down and you can just see there's ADA at number one, right here, 27.76%. And Polygon, I think Solana used to be in second. I could be wrong though, but it will be very interesting to see as Cardano continues to fortify its presence and prove itself as a sound, secure, decentralized blockchain, something that can truly be built upon in a confident manner. As that happens, will this number rise? What will their exposure to Cardano look like? And the reason why that's important is because it ties into, if they're coming out on top on a case versus SEC, Cardano, this is only good for Cardano, right? And so now this starts playing into, okay, that's how it's good for Cardano. Now we start playing into the time frame aspect, right? So the CEO of Grayscale saying maybe in fall they get a ruling. Well, what does that mean? Well, we go to Cardano on the zoomed out charts and we just start getting just a sense, right? And it's not, the Grayscale isn't what's going to move markets. It's not like a bull market, bear market like thing, but it's one little thing, right? It's one little feather in the cap of crypto if they win in the fall. Now, to give you some context, the fall is like right here, right? So here's the fall. And the question I ask myself is, in a world where maybe Grayscale is winning a case against the SEC, maybe something happened and it was good for Ripple in their case with the SEC. Maybe it's bad, I don't know. But I'm just saying, we're in this realm now. Things could start turning around in a good way for crypto as we're exiting the bear market. We tend to have to wait for, not only just from a technical analysis perspective, times like this, but the things that are happening in times like that are incredibly important to track in terms of narratives, in terms of launch pads for ADA value, right? And that's what we're looking at here. It's kind of like the launch pad of this cycle setting up. What plays into that? Well, Grayscale could play into that. And all this, and same is true back here. This was the launch pad, a long time frame for ADA. We're in a similar environment right now. What played into the launch pad when it finally did take off? Well, it was, it was the staking mechanism taking off. It was everybody looking forward to just here back in March 2021. That was the multi-asset ledger coming into play. And then we had smart contracts. There was a lot of excitement with Cardano. Well, the same is going to be true this next bull market, in my opinion, but from a different perspective, because the framework is in place. The infrastructure is in place. Now it's time for DeFi, and just all the value coming over to Cardano and onto Cardano going to be exploding. And that's going to be what's happening here. And we have things like Grayscale bullish on Cardano platform. All of these things take time. All of these things coming together. So I wanted to start with that because there's so much more than just technical analysis at any given time. Obviously, we track technical analysis. There's so much consistency. And let's talk about technical analysis now. Let's talk about ADA price, what it's doing, because this is just me tracking my journey, trying to just maintain composure as we run this marathon. And so if we look at ADA, the first thing on the weekly I did want to note was this. We're 581 days or so past the all-time high, right? It's been that long. Can you believe that? From all-time high. I mean, we're going to be going on 2 years soon. We're down 87%. If you're holding ADA this cycle, you're not more important than people that held ADA in the last bear market cycle. So you shouldn't expect anything better. But in fact, it's been better. 87% down from all-time high, 581 days later. Well, if you look at all-time high back here, and this was in 2018, 581 days later, ADA was still 95% down. So it was just as bad, but actually even worse in the last cycle. I just want to throw that out there for context to how long these cycles take to play out. These cycles, they don't happen in like 1 month down and then all of a sudden, like this is a weekly chart zoomed out. This is months and months and months and months of downside. And then it's months of sideways and pivoting out of bear markets. That's how it works. This isn't a get rich quick thing. This is like a marathon type of thing. So that's something I remind myself of all the time as we start digging into the charts, because we are watching slowly the pivot from bear to bull. We say that a lot. And here's what it looks like on the daily. I want to just say, this is the setup, and we've been tracking it, I think, really nicely. The structure is there that has set up with the inverse head and shoulders. It's just tied in so nicely with this neckline, this resistance area, that neckline right with this resistance area, that 40-cent resistance area, everybody. I'm not going to keep talking about it, but it is the resistance area, and ADA is there right now. What I wanted to do was, because we're obviously waiting, we want to see an explosive move through. It's not guaranteed that's going to happen. we have all these moving averages right here on the daily chart. They're just crossing each other. They're colliding with each other. They're wrapping around each other. That area down here is an area to be very careful of and aware of for support if there's going to be a dip, right? Especially we're in this rising channel. You see here, ADA might just fall to this 35-cent range. That could happen quick, a 10% move for ADA to the downside. What happens at these moving averages? Do we get a nice wick of support? Is it falling lower? If it falls lower, we have this swing low from the channel low to the swing high, channel high, and you can see ADA has a higher low Fibonacci, right around 34 cents to right around 32 cents. That's an area, kind of a fail-safe area if ADA falls that low for support. A higher low consolidation, meaning we did not get this inverse head and shoulders breakout to the upside. Instead, ADA kind of just failing in this right shoulder. The bull's failing to put in that momentum. It's in play right now, obviously. It's very much in play for a bearish move to the downside, a consolidation move, making us wait longer. One thing I wanted to point out, and this is just an example on the hourly chart, I think this really helps me. It is to say, when we really focus on the zoomed in, because we do, I mean, I do. I open up the charts. I could tell you, if I open up the chart right now and I saw like 39.5 cents, I'd be like, oh man, we might be onto something here. And it's true, we might be onto something, but it's such a common short-term move that could be meted with resistance, the same resistance that we keep seeing over and over again, right? We keep getting the same exact resistance, this 40-cent region. And this isn't the first time this has happened. This is back here in February. This is back here in the early February. And so we keep getting that. And the perfect example is if you actually zoom out on an hourly chart, look how often actually the moves happen, right? So get a nice move here. Everybody gets excited. And this is just in March 20th, and you get an hourly move all the way up to almost 39 cents, and then it falls. All those gains wiped away just as quick, maybe took a little bit longer, but just trickles right back down. And that type of move happens over and over again. You can even see a move, if it started to happen right now, a move to the upside. I'm sure approaching 40 cents, everybody getting probably short-term excited. Well, similar things happen just back here, and then boom, huge move to the downside. It's always wise, I think, to use, and that's why I talk about 40 cents so much. It's why I talk about, if we go back to the daily chart, it's why I talk about, this swing high back here, and I always chart it November to the swing low. I always talk about this Fibonacci retracement because really, when we're on a daily chart and ADA is just not escaping, it's not giving us a nice separation, explosive move out of this green channel, that's a huge resistance. When ADA is just in here, any move in that range should not do anything to get us excited because there's no bullish confirmation. And so I continue to wait for that. This 786 line, 39 cents, the top of the channel, to 40 cents. The resistance there is unbelievable. What would get me, I don't like using the word excited. It's kind of an emotional word, but it would get me hype. I get hype with pumps, everybody. It would be just the separation from the 39, 40 cent range. We take it to 40, just 10%, 15% separation. That's where I start getting like, okay, we're starting to get some bullish confirmations. And then how does that translate? How does that look like on the weekly chart? That's what we start evaluating because then it's macro picture. It's macro story. Notice what's here, 43 cents. If ADA is making a move like that, we have the 50-week moving average right here at 43 cents. If ADA is making a move of separation away from this area, right, we're hitting 45 cents. That's a very, very critical move on this long-term chart for ADA. We're waiting still for ADA to break that 50-week moving average. And we still have to get up to that 61 cent range. The reason why that's important, as we bring the charts together, that 60 cent target is what the target is to the upside out of the inverse head and shoulders. It's the target out of this falling wedge, right? So these things, they take time though. And we can't, every little move, start thinking like there's going to be some huge breakout. We just have to wait for confirmation. And at the end of the day, that's why I always say I'm just in the same boat as you. Nobody knows. I'm just here tracking the charts with you. The charts, if you've been watching closely my videos, I think you would agree with me that the charts really do offer such a nice roadmap to help visualize, to help just think through things, right? To have clarity on, well, how's my position? How do I feel with my position? To talk through just the mental exercises that we need to talk through. That's why I do technical analysis. It's the visualization of it all. It's so I am so prepared for downside, so prepared for upside that every single second of every day, I'm just, okay, if I sit back, am I comfortable with my portfolio? And sometimes I do sit back, I'm like, I'm actually not. I want to move something around. I want to do something different. So this is my Cardano video today as we go into this weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about everything if you're still watching. I don't even know how long this video is, but if you're still watching, hit that subscribe, hit the like, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.